going in with a bunch of crazed dogs.
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Woo! What's happening, people? And how about those Giants? You got to be fired up about that. I cannot even begin to tell you how exciting yesterday was, and we'll dig into it because there's a lot to talk about. If you don't know me, well, I'm the host of this dang show. We're here 52 weeks of the year talking about Giants football 24/7 because I am
Skattebo the king.
Damn right it is, especially on a Monday when you win a big game. So Giants beat a good Chargers team yesterday at home. Jaxson Dart gets his first start. The new era has arrived, as you can see, wearing my Dart jersey since we've been, and I told you first. I told you about Dart 3 years ago. I told you about Dart 2 years ago. I told you about Dart last year, and here we are. On the other side of the coin, we definitely have something to talk about as the Giants lose Malik Neighbors to an ACL. Mr. Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, fighting cancer. So we definitely have a couple things to ask the football gods to heal us up as quickly as possible. But I will tell you this. For any of you guys that are, I don't know, 30 plus, I will tell you this. The energy in the building yesterday was the best I've seen it since OBJ. Okay? When Beckham was on the team and things were going great those first 4 years, the energy was electric in the stadium. The energy was electric in the stadium yesterday for multi reasons. We're going to get into it. I'm going to bring the guys in. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're here, like I said, every single Monday talking Giants football. And of course, in case you're not aware, starting next week, we'll have Ryan Dunleavy from the Post on hanging out with us every single Monday. So he'll be able to tell us what's going on in the locker room and what's happening right after it happens. So let's bring in these guys.
You can't handle the truth.
Mike, what's up?
How you doing there, King?
Yeah, man.
King Rush.
So
hey, listen, what a bittersweet, of course, yesterday, losing Neighbors. But Dart, first win. They're off to a good start. It was a fun game to watch.
Without a doubt. And we're going to get into it because I'm going to bring up, when I bring in the guys, I'm going to bring up a conversation you and I had yesterday about my drive home. So don't think I forgot that. We're going to bring that up. Glad you're here. Good to see you. Okay, so all you folks out there, you're seeing a new face, but not new because he's been on with us twice already. So we're bringing in Christian from Giant Topic. No, I do not have an opening for him yet, okay? So I have to figure out, I'm working on it. I got to work behind the scenes with Christian on something, right? Because, we got, of course, this is Truth's entry to the show.
You can't handle the truth.
You know that one, right? And then, of course, you know when we've got Spartan Mike here, we play this one.
This is Sparta!
Right? So we got that one. When we get Alex, Alex has had another baby. So Alex is never here. But when Alex is here, let me look for the Alex entry because Alex, this one makes me laugh every time I play it. I just have to find it. So when Alex is here, we play this.
After that, shrimping was easy.
Don't ask me why. It's a long story. And of course, you know this dude because he's here with me every single week.
Miss the fireworks. There won't be any fireworks. And here we go.
What's up, dude?
Victory Monday. I mean, we haven't been able to say that very often, so It feels good. And there's definitely going to be fireworks tonight, Craig. Absolutely. On a Victory Monday, there's going to be fireworks.
You need to help me figure out the opening for Christian, because we could ask him, but I don't know if it's any fun if he tells us. We might have to come up with our own. So let's bring in Chris, because it's kind of like anticlimactic. I don't have anything to bring him on, but because he's a good sport, there he is. What's up, Christian?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. I really can't think of anything on the top of my head, but you got me excited to see what you guys come up with.
Oh yeah, we're gonna come up with something good so we can, when we bring you on the show. And guys, as I alluded to a minute ago, it is awful good. If that's even a correct term, it's probably not. But we're allowed to say anything we want. So it feels great to win on Monday. Okay.
Yes.
So Truth says to me yesterday, he's like, Craig, it just dawned on me. You've been driving home. Takes me about 2 hours to get to the game and 2 hours home. And Truth says to me, damn, it just dawned on me. You've been driving home for all these years, pissed off. And I'm like, yeah. So I realized I needed to look into this. How often am I actually pissed off driving home, especially on Thursday nights and Monday nights? I'm a menace on the road because I am driving 90 trying to get home while everybody else is asleep. I am on the Jersey Turnpike, okay, because I have to get off at exit 4. Most of you cats that drive south who think you're in South Jersey or not, you should get off at like exit 7, okay? I am going to read you, gentlemen, this.
Please.
In 2024, the New York Giants won one home game against the Colts in December. So all season long, I drove home pissed off.
Damn.
Right? Yes, one home game last year. And then not as bad, but in 2023, they won 4. None in September, 1 in October, and then they had 2 in November, and then 1 in January versus the Eagles at the end of the year. So
that's a great way to end it.
Yep. So if you look at it, they beat Washington at home, the Pats at home, the Packers at home, and the Eagles at home. So 4 games in 2023, 1 in 2024. So today feels really good because we won early in the season. So let's start off where we always start off, gentlemen, is like with the fun stuff, right? The fun stuff is always starts off with studs and duds.
Studs to duds.
That's right.
So, and if you guys don't know this little game that we play, we do studs and duds. Who's the studs? Who's the duds? A lot of times we agree. Sometimes we don't agree, right? And I usually just kind of fire it out to you guys. So, Truth, I'm going to start off with you because I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. Truth, who's your now? Again, I'm sure you're going to steal somebody's thunder here, but who's your stud of the game?
Oh, stud of the game? Well, boy, you could do collective. I'm going to go.
Nope, you got to give me one guy.
Okay.
Yeah, only one. Only one, because the rest of us have to pick them.
Yeah, if you go
right, and this is
stealing everybody.
And this is probably going to be occurring a lot this year, like this guy's name. I'm going to put Abdul Carter. The guy really kind of showcased what he is potentially capable of doing. And once he finishes, he had 8 pressures yesterday. And you guys watched the game. He was everywhere. And he looked like he was at a different speed than some of those guys were on those plays. And this kid is going to have a breakout game where it's going to be reminiscent of Lawrence Taylor. I just see it coming.
I like that. And I'll tell you what I saw truth out of that. One is they had him stunting from the outside back to the inside. So he came through the center of the defense 2 or 3 times completely untouched. I saw him get double teamed and swim the guard, which was really neat because usually you don't see that when you get double teams, right? He was a step away from maybe having 3 sacks, but his play yesterday is basically showcasing what we're going to see. How about you, Christian? What's your stud? If you have to, again, you only have one, so don't get greedy. Who's your stud?
Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, I'm actually going to go with Brian Burns, someone who has really impressed me all year. I mean, he lived in the backfield throughout the entire Chargers game, which shouldn't be a shock at this point. He's been doing that to pretty much every team that we faced so far this season. Him himself had 4 pressures. He had a sack, which I thought was the icing on the cake pretty much in the fourth quarter yesterday, because it was a big time sack. And I don't know about you guys, but there were moments throughout that game yesterday where I said, is this going to be the same old Giants where we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot? Justin Herbert's going to come down this field and they're going to score, and we're going to be saying this was a good performance by the defense of Jaxson Dart, but they couldn't get it done. He made sure that was not the case. I'm very impressed. And as a Broward County native myself, I'm very impressed with Brian Burns. He's growing to be one of my favorite Giants on this team so far.
Good choice. Good choice.
I do think that is a good choice. And what I really like about his game is the motor, right? I mean, like I saw him make a play coming, which again, not killing the modern day player, but you don't see guys make plays down the line of scrimmage anymore, right? Again, we remember LT did it, Banks would do it. Like sometimes, you'd get Michael Boley sometimes would make a play like that, or OC would make plays, but he's more of a D end. I saw Burns make a play yesterday where he popped the tackle, he set the edge, saw the back, and literally just scraped inside, came down, and make the tackle from behind. We don't see that a lot with Giants defense, so I think it's a great pick. His motor is definitely running high. I think this might be the best collaboration of defensive players he's ever played with. So I think that, and I think this is going to go really far to endear him to the Giants fan. And he's got a chance to carve out a niche for himself. Again, it's going to take him a couple years, right? But he's on his way. How about you, Shawn? What's your stud?
Well, before I get at 2 quick points I want to point out. Truth, great pick with Carter. And the thing about Carter was his snap counts were almost equal to Burns and Tibbs. So we're seeing him play more, which is what we've been talking about a lot on here. Yep. And to Christian's choice, Brian Burns did all that with not being 100%. He was ill. He was battling something, and he was so exhausted at one point, but he's like, I'm not coming out of the game. I'm going to make this play. So 2 points I don't think a lot of people were aware of there. But my choice, because I've been a little harsh on this gentleman over the first 3 weeks. I've been a little harsh on how they've used him. But Sexy Dexy gets my stud. He had a hell of an interception. He batted it and caught it himself. Almost ran 17.5 miles per hour, or 17 miles per hour on that, showing some speed. And he was dominating on the D line, looking like the Dex of old, beating double teams and all that. So love to see Sexy Dexy do what he was doing. So yeah, he gets my stud of the week.
I like that pick too. Of course, defense definitely held it down. I noticed Dexter moving a little bit more. I saw him lining up over the center. I saw him lining up over the guard. I definitely thought, and and I got to tell you, I said this early in the game. After the first series, I thought there was something wrong with him because he was favoring like one side of his body, and you don't see it because the camera's not on him, right? But he just did not look right. That first, maybe second series, like either he was cramped or he had something going on. He was walking a little gingerly, right? And then as the game went on, he started working it out, and he really started to come on strong. So I'm very glad to hear that. And of course, the segment is called, studs to duds. There are guys where you got to say, dude, WTF, what's up?
For sure.
So I'm going to reverse the order this time. And Shawn, give me your dud. There's a handful of guys you could go with that didn't have their best game. I wouldn't say anybody was atrocious, but who's your dud?
So I'm going to go, I've done this a couple times now, and I'm going to stick with this trend. I'm going to go a non-player. My dud goes to Mike Kafka for his red zone play calling yet again. We should have had a lot more than 21 points. You get down to the 3-yard line, and even with the false start, you still got to score a touchdown there. You wait till 4th down to make that pass, right? The red zone play call made zero sense to me. So yeah, I'm Mike Kafka gets my dud for you got to be better in the red zone. You got to figure out something. You just got to be better. No excuse for that. Sorry.
Okay. Interesting take there. I'm a little bit again. Last week I ranted like madman on Kafka, and this week I think he did better. Not saying that he was great by any stretch, but there was a little bit more variety to the game where there was some opportunity to make plays where Russ had no opportunities to make.
Definitely. That's why I specified red zone play calling. His
Oh no,
red
I
zone play
I
calling.
hear you
Yeah,
100%. But you hung the placard around his neck that says
Yep.
"Dud." So what's
Yes.
up, C-Web? What's up, Gino? Welcome in, buddies. Well, I mean, look, C-Web, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, maybe even a month or two, man. Where you been? We miss you, bro. Where you been? Let's go. Monday, 7:30. All right, let's keep going down the change. Christian, who's your dud? Who just let you down? Who were you like this? Like, oh my God, dude, give me a break.
I was afraid that Shawn was going to go with this one. Deontay Banks. I mean, Jesus Lord, man. It just, I don't know if it's his effort on the field. I don't know what exactly is going on with Deontay Banks, but I have reached a point where I don't even want to see him on the field. If you're going to play the way that Deontay Banks has been playing, and it's just reeking of you don't want to be on the field, at that point, just give me Cordell Flott and put him on the outside. I mean, you probably would get the same amount of production if we're being honest here. But at this point, I'm trying not to jump off of the Deontay Banks ship, but he's not making it easy for me to defend him in this case, especially yesterday in a win. He was a player to me that really stuck out.
Yeah, and he missed that tackle on Herbert when he had the chance easily to tackle him on that long third down run earlier in the game. Just no excuse for that. So, yeah, good choice, Christian.
Yeah, and of course, I'm pretty vocal about a lot of guys. I've eaten crow before, and I'll eat it again. I mean, I pounded. Shawn knows. Truth knows. I pounded the table for Banks, and he's just, first year I saw a little. Okay, there's something here, and I said to Shawn, I worried before the season started last year. I said, worried about Banks. And he said, why? I said, well, you know how like when they interview the players, they're coming off the field, they ask them crazy questions. And the question was, right? You remember this, Shawn? You remember this conversation?
I do. Yeah.
He says, tell us something that, that they don't know about you. And you know what his answer was? He said, people don't know that I like eating a ton of Twinkies. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is a professional athlete. And he's telling people he's sticking pounds of sugar in his face. And then he went out and he had a terrible year. And then this year, there's a lot of the same. He had a blink yesterday where there might have been, something to jumpstart him. But yeah, I mean, the effort, the angles, there's so many things. So I am with you. I don't know if he's my dud. What do you got for me, Truth? Who's your dud? Who just completely let you down?
Well, before I say that, I'm going to say something quick about Banks. I think I think the new CB2 for this team is not on the team for next year. I think they're going to go. They're going to get somebody, whether it's free agency or draft. I'm going to go. This is minute because they did play well, but I'm going to go collective and a group. I want to say.
Oh, you're selling it out. You're selling it out with the collective.
No, did you just say offensive line?
Yeah, let me finish.
Oh,
let me
Lord.
finish. They gave up 6 sacks. They did very well run blocking because they got 152 yards on the ground, but they did allow 6 sacks. You can't do that. You really can't. And some of those sacks, 4 by who was that? I can't pronounce his name. The linebacker from UCLA. I can't remember. Or Washington.
Yeah, he's a Washington kid.
Yeah, Washington kid. Yeah, and one was too easy. They got to do a little bit on that. That's why I say it's minute. Overall, they did play pretty well, but he's on. That's the only thing I can think of for a bad performance.
I'm gonna jump in on this one. I got to jump in here, fellas, because I got to tell you mine. Because when I tell you mine and I tell you why, I think you're gonna be like, oh, really never thought about that. All right. And by the way, Mark Thompson is in the house. What's up, Mark? All right. gentlemen, I want you to think about what I'm going to say. The dud is JMS, okay? For a ton of reasons. But I'm going to tell you why, Shawn. You can shake your little joker head all you want. All right?
I got my comebacks ready for both you guys.
All right. If you take Skattebo, so Skattebo had 79 yards. If you take out his 16-yard run and you look at his average, it was 2.6 yards a carry. Okay? Yeah. Take out his one run. It's 24 carries at 2.6 yards a carry. He's not going to be able to sustain that. He will be toast by week 8.
Gotta be careful, yeah.
There's not enough push through the center of the field. He gets pancaked or he's overmatched on most plays. If the Giants were smart, they'd put an H-back back there, put Bellinger back there, and let Bellinger block for Skattebo because there's no push from JMS. He's weak. He's not strong. He's the weak link of the they won't even let him pull. They let Runyon pull. They won't even let JMS pull. He doesn't got good footwork. He's weak. He's not strong. He's short. He is definitely not as advertised. And we should have picked him in the 5th round. The guy is just not like how you guys feel about Banks. I feel the same way about JMS. He's never had a breakout game. He's never made anybody look bad. He's not the guy. And it doesn't even matter. It was a perfect opportunity for him to show what he could do. Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to say?
So a couple of things. First of all, 4 of the 6 sacks were on Jaxson Dart, holding the ball too long, doing the wrong thing. So
did you hear me say anything about sacks?
No.
He's addressing
truth first, and then I'm gonna address both you guys at the same time now. So
how dare you?
JMS gave up 1 pressure yesterday.
I understand.
Andrew Thomas gave up 0 pressures. Runyon gave up 0 pressures. It was the right side of the line that gave up the pressures, Van Roten and Illuminor. But still, 5 pressures total, 6 pressures total.
Fine.
I'll take that. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's a good day. JMS had a key block on a big run for that. A lot of the reason why the yardage was only 2.6. Do you know how many times that the Chargers stacked the box with 8, 9 guys, especially on the goal line? Oh, no. JMS
sucks.
Played very, very well yesterday. Very, very well. He
Dude,
had one bad play. He had one bad play where he got pushed back. That was it. The one bad play. The rest of the game, he played well. If you give up one pressure,
I didn't say he didn't pass block well.
And I disagree that 4 sacks was all on Dart. I mean, I don't think it was 4
Well, they definitely attributed to him.
We'll get to that.
It was
definitely
of him holding onto the ball too long for sure.
Yeah,
but
we will get into that in a second. I
but it's Victory Monday. It's Victory Monday. I don't want to be arguing with people on Victory Monday.
No, we're not arguing with anybody. It's Victory Monday. Okay, but that's the end of Studs and Duds. JMS sucks, but otherwise, everyone else.
Oh, geez. You're just mad because your guy Banks.
By the way, watch how fun this is. When they talk, I could just cut them off like that. I could turn their microphone off. Go ahead.
Craig, can I make a point about the game that I saw and Sandy for the Chargers? They ran the ball really well yesterday, the Chargers. I know Hampton had that 1 carry for 54 yards, but they were averaging nearly 12 yards a carry, and they just abandoned that. I thought they threw the ball too much. They could have ran the ball more and probably took control of that game. But look, I'm glad because the Giants won, but just watching that game, I don't know why they did that. I was kind of dumbfounded that the OC, who's the OC for them? Norton or some guy's name? Norton, is that right?
I don't actually know.
Norman. Greg Norman. Yeah. Okay.
Roman.
I was kind of shocked that they abandoned the running game.
Greg Roman, because he used to be with the
Greg Roman
right back in the day.
The Ravens.
Most recently with the Ravens, yeah.
I don't know. It was Harbaugh made the decision to change it, but I just thought they should have ran the ball more because Herbert wasn't really it wasn't his finest performance. He wasn't throwing the ball that
well. We'll get into why it wasn't his finest performance in a second. Just overall, we'll move on from Studs and Duds. The biggest thing for me was you're not if you're starting back to Skattebo and he's getting 2.6 yards a carry at 24 carries, he won't be around long, regardless of how tough he is. Like they're going to have to figure out how to get more push up front. His pass blocking was fine. That was it. But let's get back into a Victory Monday and talk some more about some really other super cool stuff. Let's get into the stats, boys, right? Because the stats are kind of deceiving, like really good stuff, right? A new era has begun. Jaxson Dart starts the day off, and let me tell you, guys, the building was pumping. Like, I mean, there were people. I showed you. I think I shared it in the group chat. There was a guy walking around with eye black doing the Anakin Skywalker on everybody, right? So the building was pumping. Right away, you could see the difference with Dart with the ball in his hand. He was fast, quick decisions. He was ready to move in the pocket, right? So I want to go over the stats with you guys. So Dart went 13 for 20, pretty efficient for 111 yards for his first day out, right? One touchdown. Then he had 54 yards rushing with one touchdown. His longest pass was 18 yards. His longest run was 15 yards. He took 5 sacks. He definitely needs to throw the ball away because he definitely ran into a couple sacks too. But overall, the kid's super tough, which you can't see, off the camera in the stadium. You can see him limping a couple times, taking some big shots. That experience is going to come. Herbert had 203 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 2 times. He had 2 interceptions, which we can get into, like how great it is to finally get some turnovers.
Yeah.
His average pass was 5 yards, which was his lowest percentage of the year, which is for the Giants defense, right? To holding Herbert to his lowest average pass. Let's get into the first win of the season, guys. Dart comes out right away. What do we see from him? Running, throwing, talking. But you know what? Let's start here. They go right down the field and they score. We haven't seen anything like that in a while. Christian, what was the first thing you thought? Like let me pop up here. Dart shines. Boom. What was the first thing after that first drive? They go down the field and they score, right? And what's your first initial thought of Dart? Like what you saw, because he was pretty dynamic.
Yeah, he definitely was. And while it's early, I've been pretty vocal saying that whether he won or lost this game, it wasn't going to sway my opinion on him too much. But I liked what I saw. He looked poised in the pocket. He didn't look, uncomfortable. I will say not the only, but one of the biggest things that kind of stood out to me was when something wasn't there, instead of forcing it. Well, actually, no, he did try forcing it too, Wandale. Would have wished Theo went for it. But if something wasn't there, he would pick up the plays with his legs, which we weren't going to see that really with Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. I thought that he added wrinkles to the playbook that Dable and Kafka really wanted to implement, especially early on, and they really couldn't. Now, there were some things that I did not like from Jaxson Dart, but again, this is all early. He's only played 1 game. But like you said, Craig, I thought the fans really fed onto the energy that Jaxson Dart brought. You heard it all throughout the week about his moxie and, the confidence that he plays, and it really showed. One thing that really stuck out to me was, I believe it was a 3rd down play in the Chargers red zone where it looks like Jaxson Dart is getting stuffed at first, and he kind of pops off of that. A nice block by Skattebo, by the way, and he brings it out to the left side, and he picks up a 1st down, and you could hear the whole crowd erupt behind him. A play like that will really get a fan base behind you. It'll get a team behind you. You heard players like Jermaine Illuminor saying that he wanted to run through a wall for him after the game. So it's really nice to see. And like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I liked what I saw so far.
Love that. Yeah, I know the play you're talking about. It was either the 3rd or 4th quarter. He needed the 1st down. He got whacked, for a loss. Didn't go down. Didn't fold his tent. Bounced right off him. Took it left and got the 1st down. That was enormously impressive. But that's later in the game. Shawn.
Yeah.
Early on, like first drive, he does something I haven't seen like a Giants quarterback do in a while. He's rolling out to his right. He's got nothing.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about that.
You see him reach out, and he's like, come on back.
To Slayton.
I'm back. Slayton stops the route, comes back, drills him. I'm like, that's a veteran move right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a veteran move right there. Because if that's Jones, he tucks it and runs. And if that's Wilson, he throws it out of bounds. He's literally like, and remember, he was the third quarterback, the second quarterback. He doesn't even really have a lot of time playing with Slayton. And they already look like there's some chemistry.
Not only that, the way he was audible at the line, moving things around, like the comfort the presence that he showed at the line to make calls, do what he needed to do. And I'm going to go a little later in the game when you talk about some intangible things that, that fourth quarter, that first down they needed later in the game to Theo Johnson over the middle was an improvised play. That's something he saw and said to Dable and to Johnson prior to the game. I don't know if it was like earlier in the day or the night before, is like, if they run this look, don't keep going, turn it back. And that, I got us extra first down would inevitably won us the game. So I love what I saw. And here's the thing. I don't care what his stats said, because let's keep in mind, he lost his number one receiver early in the game, right? So how much are you going to do after that? And they didn't adjust with the play calling, not having Malik in there. So I don't care what his stats said. He accounted for 2 touchdowns. I cared that he won. I cared to see what the team did. Offense and defense was absolutely energized by him. And you can see the leadership qualities there. Yes, it's early. I agree. But you see things that are definitely good out there. Now, we got to see. I know we're going to talk about it later. But again, he did all of this without having Malik Neighbors for 3/4 of the game, right? Yeah. So let's be context here. No, I say context here. Like, let's not look at his stats. That's what he was doing things. He opened up, like Christian said, he opened up the playbook more. That RPO is going to be a big weapon for them. Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm looking at C-Web's comment. Here's what's different, right? Daniel Jones, as a rookie, threw for 24 touchdowns, but they were just throwing touchdowns. This kid had a different style to him, right? So the first thing is, got everybody fired up. The stands, the sidelines, the defense, right? They're all rallying around this young dude that, is just bringing a lot of energy. He's got, think about it. Him and Carter have the whole Star Wars thing going. Like, they're having fun. But then you start breaking down like, okay, I've never seen Jones do some of the things that Dart did yesterday. He threw the ball sidearm to pick up a first down. Like, literally leaned over underneath the DN and slung it sidearm. Jones didn't do that, right? The play to Theo, they already said that Jones went to Dable and said they were changing that up. It's all over. It's all over, Giants, that was an improvised play, that they were, going to run that a little bit differently than had planned. You saw him stiff arm a dude, which I don't condone. I don't condone it.
Not with his throwing arm.
I love it.
Dude ripped off, me and Shawn went at it earlier today, peacefully, of course. But the guy was like, stiff arming a cornerback on the 5-yard line going, get off me. Like, there's a different vibe to the dude. We need to keep him healthy. He ran into a couple sacks because he held the ball too long. I'm not cleansing him of not making mistakes. But you know what he also did that I, again, have never seen Jones do, or Russell? He stepped out of 3 or 4 sacks. Like, literally nowhere to go, and slid up and then slid back or verticaled out. Like, he wasn't stuck to moving up. Like, one thing Jones never did well was he never moved up in the pocket.
Yeah, pocket presence.
Yeah, never moved up. I saw Dart move up and then back. I saw him move sideways and around. Like, he's comfortable. And this is what I want you guys to hear me very loud and clear. What's the difference between him and Jones? And I know, C-Web, you're going to know what I'm saying. He's comfortable with people around his feet and people around him. Jones would take sacks because he was uncomfortable with guys around him. Now, again, he had a pretty shitty line. But I'm just saying that Dart thinks he can make a play, and he's looking for pockets to slide into to get the arm free to make the pass. You just didn't see that, right? You didn't see that out of Jones. Soon as Wilson came in, the energy left the building.
Listen, and this isn't directed at C. Webb because he's my guy too. But can we stop talking about Daniel Jones? Like, why is he still coming up? We don't.
Well, in his defense,
Dart is Dart.
He didn't say
no. I it's not directed at C. Webb. It's
Yeah,
other Giants fans doing it too, and it's just annoying. Like, let's move on from talking about Daniel Jones now. To the point of him still being a rookie, one of those sacks was on him because he slid protection to the left instead of protection to the right. And that's why he got sacked. Guy came off the edge and he wasn't looking at. Now, whether that was him or whether whoever on the line was making the call, that's something you got to do. There were some things, a couple things here and there. So yes, we understand it's tempered excitement, but there is, and a number of people have said this. And yes, it's game one. Number of professional people have said he just has that it factor. And for those that know, they know what we're talking about, or they know what people are talking about when you said he has that it factor. And he definitely has that it factor. Now we got to see him progress and see how his play does on the field. But that's what you want out of a quarterback. You want that it factor.
Yeah. And again, he's making different types of plays. Like Christian brought up, he got whacked for a 4-yard loss, bounced off it and got a first down. Right. He had a block for Skattebo. He's sliding up and down in the pocket. He's calling for Slayton to come back so he could throw him the ball. Like he's super comfortable, with, the offense as a rookie. He looked, if I told you he'd been the starter for day one, you'd say, yeah, that's what he looks like. Like he made rookie mistakes, but I have told you guys from the beginning, I don't know if this is what you're alluding to, Mark Thompson, is he's not a finished product.
No, he's not.
Right?
Not
I mean, yeah. When he came from Ole Miss,
no.
I'll ask Shawn, what was the first thing I said that when you guys were kind of catching on to him, and what was the first thing I told you?
Yeah, it was about his footwork, and he's not a finished product. And you could see some of that yesterday. Some of the things with footwork, where some of his throws were off. I think his hammy was bothering him a little bit too, so that impacted some things as well. But again, we don't need to be judging him this harsh when he didn't have a full playbook to be able to take advantage of defense. And we know how good that Chargers defense is.
Yes.
And he led us to a win. He led us to a win. Say what you want to say about his stats, but he led us to victory. Him and Skattebo led us. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Forget
can't judge him that harshly.
The kid was tough as nails yesterday.
Exactly. And the team rallies around him.
Yep.
And he's doing things. He's in that, like, he didn't meet with Daboll for 10 hours, but he was in the Giants facility for 10 hours. He's watching film. He's calling Daboll late at night saying, hey, I'm worried about red zone offense. And turns out he was right. Still, let's fix it, right? So those are the things that you want to see from your quarterback. And he's a rookie doing this. So there's things to be encouraged about. We understand. We don't know what else is going to happen after this, but there are things you can be encouraged about for sure. We're not saying he's the next, great Hall of Fame quarterback. We're saying there are things that he has that we're excited about, and he led us to a victory yesterday. So can we just enjoy the victory? Like, there shouldn't be any sad, depressed Giants fans right now. Everybody should be happy.
Yeah,
we got a victory against an undefeated, really good team. Really good team.
For sure.
Really good team, really good defense.
I just want to add on to something real quick.
Shawn, were people complaining on X?
Oh my God!
There are people that's all they do is complain. Like I heard one guy say there was no wow factors. I'm like, no wow factors. If JMS doesn't hold, he's got a 40-yard run and he stiff armed the quarterback.
We talk about players don't know how to handle wins. Our fans don't know how to handle. No. We're not used to winning. Like, come on, enjoy the victory. You don't know when it's going to happen again. So let's go.
No, I mean, and the only thing that I want to say, something that we did see, not to bring him up again, but something that we did see with Jones that I don't want to see with Jaxson Dart, when we saw him favoring his left hamstring and then obviously him potentially hurting his wrist doing the stiff arm, as great as it is seeing him take the contact hits, I would
can't happen.
Him not to, and another thing too, like we need someone to save Jaxson Dart from himself.
He did dive yesterday, though. There was a play he did dive.
Yeah, for sure. And he'll learn. It's only his first game. But I do think with Jones that was a problem where, I mean, I remember against the Cardinals, I think it was his first or second year, he was playing on like his hamstring, I know it was severely injured. And he shouldn't have played that game, but the Giants had no choice and they played him in that game. It was a rainy game. We don't really need that with Jackson. I would prefer if he can protect himself, if he could slide a little bit better. Gruden spoke about that too. But he'll learn. That's my only negative with him.
Yeah, man. He's like I said, he's not a finished
move on here.
He's not a finished product. Yep. He's going to get better. Here's the
Craig,
thing.
Can we get a sound effect?
Yeah.
Can we get a sound effect for this? Can we get a
Here,
slap sound effect?
You don't agree with Christian?
No, he said the name that I don't want to be said anymore. He said it multiple times. Give it slap.
Hey,
we're gonna put somebody in charge of getting a slap sound effect on here.
Yeah, I only got this one.
Still my guy though, Christian. You're still my guy.
No, you're good. No worries.
Can I just throw icing on the cake from everything you guys said?
Is it good icing or bad icing?
Yeah, good icing.
All right,
bring
yes,
you can.
Bring the good icing.
No, we've all played competitive sports, right? It depends on what level. It doesn't matter. But when you see a guy, especially you talk about football, and your quarterback is giving you that kind of effort, it makes you want to play for him. It makes you want to bust your chops and bust your hump to play for him. And there were a couple of times that I was getting chills watching Dart on some plays because I could feel how that must have felt on a football field, what the players are feeling with him. I can imagine him running back in the huddle screaming, come on, let's get this. I was just getting excited.
Truth,
you redeemed yourself from your dud there, Truth. Way to go, man.
Yeah. Well, Truth, when he took that hit for a loss and then bounced off it, the whole defense on the sideline were like standing up. They were like,
you gotta love it. You gotta love that.
Yeah, the defensive guys love to see a guy like because he looked like he was taking a loss. Bang, he stopped, keep going, shook him, dove out for the first down. There was a bunch of the D tackles all standing on a sideline, pumping their fists. So it's good to be a Giants fan right now.
Yep.
As far as the quarterback's concerned, we're going to get into some of the other things that are kind of hanging heavy over us. Let's get into the pass rush because the pass rush is something that I wanted to ask you guys about. I'm calling it the RPR from now on. I'm going to, so if it winds up in PFF or something, it's relentless pass rush. What we've been talking about is why not just go out there and blitz the crap out of somebody? Let's blitz like it was the 2000 Ravens, 86 Bears, or 85 Bears, 86 Giants. I know we're not none of those teams, but we got 4 guys that can really get after it. I want to ask you guys, is it sustainable? Can we continue to go after quarterbacks this way because we're pretty deep, or, again, I know we have to change the game plan. Shawn, I really was happy with Tibbs. He cooled off a little bit in the second half, but I was really happy to see him playing at what feels like another level. There is a contract coming up. Some guys play better in that contract year, but do you think that relentless pass rush is something that Bowen's going to continue with? You're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, I think so. Because the guys are buying into it. They're talking about how it can be. And here's something why I think that too. And it was Ryan Dunleavy reported this, which is another thing you can get when he's joining our show every Monday, little tidbits like this. Brian Burns went up to Shane Bowen and said, can we run the play that we ran earlier in the game? And that's what got him the sack in the fourth quarter there. So if guys are starting to step up, be leaderships, and say something to the coach, that's what you want. That's how you know you have a team. It can't all just be on the coaches. The players have to see stuff out there and go back to the coaches, right? So I love it. I think he'll believe in it. I think they'll get after it. And even if they're not blitzing a lot, they're even getting pressure. Like even if you're bringing 4 guys, but you're bringing them from different varieties, that works. And so the biggest thing for me, how many times, Craig, have I talked about in this show the last couple of weeks, is you got to play Abdul Carter more, and those guys got to be on the field at the same time. Carter, Burns, and Tibbs have to be on the field at the same time. They almost had, I said it earlier, they almost had identical snap counts, and that's what you want. That's what you want. That's what we have to do.
Shawn, do you know how many times they played together those 4 guys? Do you know? I don't know.
I don't know that, but watching the game, they were on the field together a lot. I don't remember too many times when they weren't on together.
If anybody knows, let us know. I'd like to know that.
And here's the other thing why I think they can keep it up. My guy, who I said in the preseason, and truth, you might have been on this show for this, but I said Darius Alexander would be starting by week 3. He started week 4 and he played really, really well. And if he can do what he's doing, that is going to help the rest of that pass rush and getting after the quarterback. And when Golston comes back off the injury, that's some more depth they have there. But at this point, get wins. Guys will play through being tired. I don't care. Rotations don't matter. And I think Bowen's finally seeing that. I hope, anyway.
Yeah, you got to have depth to let your other guys just blitz and do a lot of blitz. You need other guys to make plays. If it fails,
Christian,
yeah, Mark brought up a good point because they lined Tibbs up at DN, which is something that I've been saying for a while he could do, and he actually did pretty well there. So
not all the time though. He can't play there all the time.
No, well, I'm just saying they lined him up. He did well.
Here's the bigger picture for me. What's super interesting, Christian, is Musau is not as good as McFadden. But look at the difference that he makes. So Musau comes back from injury. He's wearing the brace, right? Now Carter doesn't have to play inside. Last week when Carter played inside, he kind of he has a nice game. But the game, Christian, that Carter had yesterday compared to the Kansas City game was because of the position change. So if and when McFadden comes back, this defense is going to get a good shot in the arm because, again, Musau's a nice player. He's a backup. We looked at some film earlier today, Shawn and I, is that he's just not – the Giants have an issue, Christian, of kind of blowing plays up and, and letting the play come to them instead of getting aggressive downhill in the hole, right?
Sure. Yeah.
McFadden's not great at it. He's not terrible at it, but Musau a lot of times was flat-footed a lot of times, but he made a difference because now Carter can move up and rush the quarterback. So my question to you was do you notice the difference or was it just me? Because Carter last week was a nice player. Yesterday, he was a first-round draft pick dynamic player.
Yeah, I think it does make a difference. It was funny to me when we heard the coaching staff say that, we'll potentially see more snaps at edge for Abdul Carter. And I'm like, well, duh, that's what you drafted him 3rd overall for. And it paid off. Between Carter, Burns, and Kayvon to have 20 pressures, 2 sacks, a bunch of quarterback hits. I mean, I do think that something like that is sustainable. And especially, to the point of you're getting Chauncey Golston back, you are going to have Darius Alexander on the field. And then you insert a Micah McFadden later on who, don't get me wrong, Darius Musau isn't no scrub, but I think we can all agree that McFadden is an upgrade at that position. But I thought just looking at the guys yesterday, they capitalized on a bad offensive line. And they were capitalizing even when Joe Alt was in the lineup too. I think we would all agree that if they didn't capitalize, we'd be on here talking about we have all this talent, but we couldn't take advantage of a bad offensive line. Giants did what they had to do. Abdul Carter, 8 pressures, 5 quarterback hits. Looked like he was going to have a 3-sack game damn near. So I think that he's slowly coming to the fold. Not every team is going to have a Joe Alt on their team unless you're the Eagles, where you have 2 bookend tackles, the best offensive line in the league. I think we're going to see quite a few games where Abdul Carter is going to shine the way that he did against the Los Angeles Chargers, especially since there's not a lot of teams in the NFL that do have a good offensive line that we will be facing.
And we need him to play, DN. Again, it was great that he stepped up and played inside last week because Musau was hurt. But you just noticed the difference in the defense, right? Because they're just turned on and going. By the way, Burns, 5 tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss, 4 QB hits, and 1 sack. That's a pretty nice day for Brian Burns. So think about it.
Can I add something too really quick?
Please.
All year long, all off season, everyone was hyping up, Abdul Carter and what this defense was going to look like, rightfully so. But then to go to the point of what we were talking about earlier with Brian Burns, he has genuinely looked like the Giants' best pass rusher on the field, at least to me. And I think when you look at the reports going into this year where he's playing with the chip on his shoulder. He looks very confident in this team. He's taking on a new role in terms of leadership on this defense, and it's showing. He's a player that I know yesterday a lot of people were honing in on Abdul Carter. I was watching Brian Burns a lot yesterday because I really wanted to see how he was going to look, considering that I thought he looked really good against the Chiefs. So, Abdul Carter, I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, man, I love it. And like I said, I think Burns almost comes in a little underrated because everyone's focused on Carter, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm still the big dog here, right?" So it's really good to see these guys playing well. And to your point about Golston coming back, like that was a sore spot in the relentless pass rush. Is like, where are we going to have one when Dex ain't on the field? I don't think that they're missing a lot. It's like Shawn just said, you can drop Tibbs down, right? You're getting some good play out of. Listen, even DJ Davidson had a couple plays yesterday, so we're getting plays from different places, and I really like it. And again, it makes a difference because yesterday was fun because everybody was charged up, everybody was feeding off each other, and those are all, like I said. I mean, again, look, how about the punting? I mean, Gillen was on fire yesterday. I mean, he booms a 65-yard punt with a 15-yard return. He's net average a 57-yard punt. The kid comes in and kicks a bunch of field goals. Like, everything was moving. Gunner, even Banks had a good return.
33-yard return, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should switch him to offense because he did pretty well there. Like, Yeah, I think a lot of things were clicking yesterday. Like I said, I went in early because I was trying to get the dart. I was trying to get this signed, but I couldn't get close to the wall. But everybody was fired up, man. It was like the only guy that looked really mean was Andrew Thomas, and he played fantastic. It's so good to have him back. I know we have some fun, right, Shawn, about him being made of glass, but when he plays, it's noticeable. Yeah, well, I want to give a shout out to somebody that a lot of Giants fans, including one of our big time supporters here, thought should be cut. I think even you said it too, King. But Chris Manhertz down at our own goal line is blocking a 300-pound D tackle and making room for our running back out, and makes a hell of a special teams play. So this is why Manhertz is on the roster, because he can block like nobody's business, and helped a lot in yesterday's win. So it goes unheralded. It doesn't show up in the stats, but that's why you have a guy like Chris Manhertz on the roster.
It's interesting too that you bring that up, because like, I didn't know if there was going to be room for Manhertz, because we talked about this earlier, about how Gronk and Hernandez minus the murder, were this duo, and like, Bellinger comes in, makes a great play, and then he never sees the field again, right? They put him in as an H-back. Like, I think maybe as the season goes on, you could run a lot more two tight ends, because we already know Theo's a 50-50 guy. He's either going to drop it, fumble it, or catch it, right? Bellinger only allowed on the field for one play, but he always makes a great play. The tight ends that we have in the building seem to be all not only worthy to be there, but they're all contributing. Right. And I didn't think Manhertz was going to make the team, because I didn't know if they could carry three tight ends.
With Neighbors out, you might see more double tight ends now.
Yeah, I agree. You might see more 12 personnel as well.
We give a shout out, by the way, to Tudo. What's up, my man? Thank you very much for the sticker. Always, you're an OG, Tudo. You're an OG right now. I can't call you Unc, but I can call you OG. All right. So appreciate you guys. Okay, leave anybody out? Yo, Daniel, what's up? Happy Monday. Happy, winning Monday, right? Which is definitely different. Karen's in the building. Let me see the entire King County, even with Neighbors out, they did Jaxson to QB, young, smart, with plays fast, and team loved. Karen, you're 100% right. Everybody was digging the energy. I'll say it again in case you just got in here late. I'm a season ticket holder. I sit on the 22-yard line. I sit 22 rows up. It's the best energy I've seen in the building since OBJ. When Beckham took the field, pregame, during the game, post-game, like, he was an exciting player. did I like what he turned into? The hotel room and the killing Eli and Cough, all that stuff. I get it. But on the field, that cat could play, and he brought a ton of energy. So I think Dart, Skattebo, and Carter have this really cool thing going on, that they're young and they're crazy and they can play.
Psychos. Love it. Give me more
Yep.
psychos.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are all really good things. So thanks for the comment, Karen. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Welcome to the Rush family. Bang. In case you guys don't know, every Monday we're here at 7:30. Starting next week, Ryan Dunleavy from the New York Post will be hanging out with us every single week talking Giants football. We'll get some real good scoops, right? Like what they said in the locker room, what's going on during the week. So Ryan's going to be hanging out with us. If you're not following Ryan Dunleavy, make sure you follow him. He's been writing for the Post forever, covering the Giants. And he usually comes on once a year, but we talked him into coming on every week. So we're hopefully you guys will help us grow the show and come hang out, see what Ryan has to say every Monday. Let me ask you guys before we move into the next topic is, hang on, let me go through my list here. We got to kind of cover the neighbors thing. So, all right, let's start off with this. Long pass, underthrown. Neighbors tries to come back for it. What you don't see, now everybody knows, but what you don't see is it wasn't the landing. It was prior to the landing is when the knee popped. Everybody was hoping for a sprain or something, but it is torn, and Malik Neighbors will miss the season. That's a huge blow for the Giants. It's a huge blow for a young quarterback. It's a big morale kind of buster, I guess, so to speak. They're gonna rally around a couple guys, right? Truth. When you watch the game, like did you was it like oh no, not again?
Yes. I'll be quick. Not again. Not again. We all know the history of the New York Giants with injuries. And when I saw that, I said, oh no. I was just praying to God it wasn't serious, but
non-contact. Truth. It's a non-contact injury.
It happened to a lot of guys, right? Didn't it happen to Shepard one year?
Wan'Dale Robinson non-contact. I don't. Maybe Shepard too. Shepard too.
Yep, Shepard, OBJ, McKeithen, Wan'Dale. Yeah, it's a very long list. This Nick Bosa. It's a very long list of players, even outside the Giants.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Christian, it happens, and then you're like, oh man, like it's over. We can't win this game. Dart rallies, make sure that Slayton's involved and he's spreading the ball around, right?
Yep.
Theo, Bellinger, Slayton. Again, he only had 111 yards, but we're trying to pound the rock, make smart plays. But Neighbors out changes the playbook, Christian. Without getting into the bigger topic, which we're going to get to in a second, like, can we play or can we play? Or actually, let me go back. What did you think when you saw it happen?
I held my breath. I won't lie, and I'm gonna try to not be dramatic about the situation. But once he was on the ground, and the camera pans to a different angle, and you see him screaming in agony, dude, it was, it felt like OBJ all over again. Where you have a player who is elite at what he does and really gives life to not just this offense but to this fan base. And whenever you see a player go down, especially when it's non-contact, you're always going to think the worst. And then I thought to myself right after the cart came out, how is this offense going to look? Because we've seen how this offense looks when we don't have a Malik Neighbors, right? And Darius Slayton is forced to be your wide receiver one. Wan'Dale, your two. It looked like, they tried getting Hyatt involved to some capacity. We saw some Bo Collins. But maybe it's just me, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I don't know if they'll be able to win a lot of games with their current roster at the wide receiver position. I know that there's been some fans that have said, bringing in OBJ, bringing in or trading DJ Moore. I feel a little conflicted on that one, but I really am curious to see how this offense is going to look. Because like you said, Craig, it is a big thing to this offense. It's a big hit. It would be to any offense, right? And, the schedule isn't very favorable going forward in terms of after the Saints game. And we're going to need as much help as we can on the offensive side of the ball. So I really don't know what Joe Shane's going to do.
All right, well, this is where we can mix it up, because this is a what we like to call a little bit of the King's Court Joker Justice segment. I'm gonna fix this because I'm the king. And in case you guys don't know, I'm always right. And just in case you guys don't know that,
It's good to be the king.
yeah. So I, being the king, and in this one-on-one segment, I'm gonna have really quick with the Joker over there. I think the Giants are going to fire the head coach because they don't have enough firepower to win more than 4 games. Malik Neighbors wins 2 games all by himself, maybe 3. Just him. I think the Giants have to trade for a wide receiver.
You have anybody in mind?
That's not my point. My point is that there are guys.
That's going to be my point, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Joker.
My
That's
point,
the Joker justice. Let's go.
Exactly. My point is that there are guys on this team like Belton and Hyatt and Evan Neal. There are guys that we have sitting around, and we don't have an extra pick because we had to move back into the first to get Dart. So we don't have that big plethora of picks next year. But if Dable wants to stay on this team, Shawn, and win 6, because I don't know if Mara's keeping them with 4 wins. If this team wants to win 7 or 8 games, you're not winning 7 or 8 games. You were not winning 7 or 8 games with Slayton and Wandale. So, Joker, as I am the king and I am always right, but I'm going to let you have your say as the for your justice here. I think the Giants should trade for a receiver, even if they bring in like another 1A guy like Slayton. But they're not winning enough games to save Dable's job if they don't do something. If they go get some scrap heats, it won't matter.
Yeah. So and it pains me to say that I'm going to agree with you here to an extent, because I was already thinking this. But before I get into my point, let me say this. This is where Joker Justice is going to come in. We have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens. Are the Baltimore Ravens giving up on the season? Are their fans giving up the season, saying we can't make the playoffs, we can't do anything? Yes, I know we got
Flowers.
I think they did, and whatever. It doesn't matter who they lose, but this is why. Let me finish, and I'll get to my point of saying this. Dallas tied. Dallas only has 1 win on the season. Washington lost yesterday. Yes, we got Philly twice. We still have a shot to make the playoffs. You cannot, just because we're 1-3, say we can't make a trade because we're 1-3. We can't give up assets. Draft picks are not gold. I've said this the entire time I've been part of the Rush family. The Los Angeles Rams went 6 years in a row without a first-round draft pick. Trade. Get a receiver. You got a young quarterback who needs a receiver to help with the thing. Now, whether somebody's available, I don't know. But you figure out, you make it happen. And here's why. Because then next year, now you have Malik Neighbors back, depending on when he comes back and how he recovers from this, and you have another good wide receiver to pair with him, coupled with the other guys that we have there. I don't want to hear the takes of we're 1-3. We can't give away picks. We got wait and draft a receiver in the draft. The season is now. We're 1-3. And even if we trade and win 7, 8 games and miss out in the playoffs, who cares? We won 7 or 8 games. You want to win. You have a young quarterback. You have to develop the quarterback. You just can't do it. So before I even knew you were going to ask this question, I was thinking it yesterday. and I said it to some of my boys out there, go out and make a trade. If you got to give up a first rounder, if you got to give up a second rounder, and it's for a very good wide receiver, then you go do it.
And you know what? And remember this, and I'll let you jump in here, Truth, is this. I don't know what they can do. I don't know what leverage they have. I don't know. None of us know. But we also know that there are guys on this team that don't hold a whole lot of value, like a guy like that. You're not going to win games with Hyatt or Neal. Like, some of these guys can be part of the package.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're healthy scratching dudes.
You can trade Jalen Hyatt and maybe he'll get a fresh start somewhere else if it gives you a proven receiver. There's coaches and GMs who want a guy that they think they can develop and like, oh, he needs a fresh start. The talent's there, the speed's there. We've seen it happen a number of times. And let's not say, well, there's nobody you can trade for, because you know what? How many people thought the Kansas City Chiefs were going to trade Tyreek Hill? How many people? I know there was rumors maybe about AJ Brown, but did we really think the Philadelphia Eagles? Yeah, did we think the Eagles were going to trade for AJ Brown? No, we did not. So you don't know who's available until you throw something out there.
Yeah, I get that point. I mean, for me, it's just more of, and I want Truth to speak too. I just want to say this real quick. I guess where my conflict is just who is the player that is being traded for and what are we giving up. The first I'm a little hesitant on, but I do agree with you, Craig. Shawn, that these picks are not gold. But like I said, for me, it just depends on who that player is that you would be trading for. Because we don't have a second round pick, right? From when we had traded up.
Third. We don't have a third round pick.
Oh, we don't have a third. Okay, excuse me. I thought it was a second. So you got to keep that in mind too. But it's just who and what. But thankfully we don't got to make those decisions. So.
Hey, Truth. Karen says trade Russell Wilson. Is that? I mean, we're gonna have to eat some of that contract, but is that something that you want to do?
Well, I mean, if they're not going to play him, and someone comes calling, hint Bengals, why not? Why not? You got Winston sitting behind him. You're committing yourself to Dart. Why not?
Yep. Good point.
Someone wants him.
And by the way, I love the point, Cold. Listen, and I thought Hodgins would have been good to bring in and in camp and let him compete, kind of a thing, as he knew the offense. Like, to Sean's point, bringing in Hodgins or Gabe Davis is not winning you 7-8 games. Like, you need to actually find a guy that can play ball. I don't care if it's a Band-Aid, but it's got to be a big enough Band-Aid that the guy can make the team for 2 or 3 years. Not just catch a couple.
I don't think there's anybody on the trading market, a wide receiver, that's going to make a difference and give you 7-8 wins this year. I don't see it. I don't think there's a team that's willing to trade a player of that caliber that's going to make a difference on this year. And I understand what you're saying, Shawn, about draft picks, but that first round pick could end up being a top 5 pick. And
again, I'm not going to give up a first round pick just for anybody, but if it's a difference maker, like if it was a Tyreek Hill type, I'm not saying Tyreek Hill, but I'm saying that type of difference maker. Absolutely. Cause you're not going to, rare that you may not hit that.
You use the example of the Rams. The Rams were just a quarterback away. They had a very loaded roster, and getting Stafford, that was the icing on the cake, and they won the Super Bowl that year. They made the trade. The Giants aren't going to play it away. They're not.
No, but the Rams were making trades before they got Stafford. They traded for Jalen Ramsey. They traded other guys' first round picks to bring in. Stafford was the icing on the cake. Yeah. So here's a name that my guy Stretch Money on Twitter threw out, a name. I don't know if he's on the trade block or if there's things, but Chris Olave from the Saints could be a name potentially to watch out.
Is he healthy or has he been hurt?
I think he is. So that may be something. The Saints are rebuilding. They may want that draft pick to put somebody in. They may be the part with them.
What draft pick are you talking about?
That I don't know. I don't know what he would be worth, but I would imagine probably a second. I don't know if we don't have a third, but maybe it's a.
I could see a fourth.
So Mark Johnson
maybe a fourth for him.
What's that?
I was just saying I could see a fourth.
Maybe a fourth for him. Okay. Yeah.
Because Mark Thompson says even if they are 3-1,
So-
they're not trading for a wide receiver. That's cool, but guess what? When we win 3 games and Shane's gone and Dave's is gone, and now again we're right back to the joke. Oh, I got to get a new coach. The coach got a new coordinator. I'm not saying I love Dave.
That could be the best. That could be the best thing for this Giants organization. If that happens,
know.
But
We don't
here's the
know.
thing: even if you trade for him, you're going to have him again next year, and that's the thing. Like, so you don't have to worry about drafting a wide receiver in next year's draft. Like, sometimes you got to take those chances to improve this team with a young
Yes.
quarterback.
That's
Fans,
true.
too many fans. Not saying you, Truth. Too many fans don't want to give up draft picks, and I don't buy it. If you're getting a proven commodity. Just like I don't agree with the Cowboys trading Micah Parsons because they got all these draft picks. How likely you think you're going to get another Micah Parsons in a draft?
Yeah.
And I know Jerry Jones tried to compare it to the Herschel Walker trade. Not the same. Not even close to the same, right? So sometimes we worry too much about draft picks and we think they're gold. And again, not directed at you, Truth. This is directed at fans who think this. Draft picks are not gold. You got to make the move sometimes. You got to be bold. You got to make it happen. And yes, wide receivers are still important in today's NFL. And again, if you get a proven commodity and you pair him with Malik Neighbors next year too, along with the rest of our wide receiving core, then we're going to be even better. So I said all offseason, I know Cold said it. I said it all offseason that we needed to sign a wide receiver too. So why not go out and get it now? Who can step in and be the one until Neighbors comes back?
I think
I
showing
guess,
the bigger,
if we had
issues-
names, it would be much easier.
Yeah, we'll have to go definitely through the names and look.
I mean,
right?
DJ Moore I'd trade for him. He can be expendable because you got Rome Odunze, some of the other guys, right? You got I already mentioned Chris Olave.
And maybe there's a guy out there that's not happy that we don't know about, right? You got like Shane's got to
Right.
make the calls. The bigger issue is, do we want to do a new coach, a new GM, a new offensive coordinator, a new defense? Because that's what happens. Like, do we want to have another losing season when we think, you know what, we can get momentum going here? Let's not start all over. Our franchise is used to losing for so long. We're fine with scrapping it and throwing it away. It took a while for Coughlin to get going, right? I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying that, like, he's got his quarterback. We got good pieces. I mean, I can't explain to you how much energy was in the building because of one dude. All right. So for me, starting all over again, like, you don't have to like Dable and Shane. I don't, it's kind of irrelevant, but starting over is starting over. You know what I mean? So now now you're hoping that there's something there. And if it's not, now you're starting over again. Like we can't keep doing that same thing. So right now, let's prove to the NFL that we got one of the better defenses in the league that's growing, and we've got life on the offensive side. Because next year you're going out and you're drafting a tackle in the first round.
Yeah.
So
Fred,
King,
can I
here's a
ask you
guy that's
question?
on. Oh, go ahead, Truth.
Go ahead, Sean. I'll make a point.
I would say you're always talking about bold moves, King. So here's a bold move. There's a guy that we know is unhappy. Now, whether or not we can pry him from his team is a different story, but you want to make a bold move, you go try to get A.J. Brown from the Eagles because he's tweeting out he's not happy. He's not been happy this entire season. Now, I'm not saying it can happen. I get it.
Yeah.
It's not the point. The point is you want to make a bold move, you go and get him. You give up what you need to give up to go get him, and you bring him here. Because not only does it make us stronger, it makes Philly. And listen, Philly made a trade with Dallas, so they can trade within division. Again, I understand it's A.J. Brown, Philly's, but I'm saying
trade the draft. You mean, right? Is that what you mean? The draft pick? Trade?
Well, yeah, they trade in the draft, but I'm saying you try, whether or not it happens, you try to make the move. If you're reading this and you're seeing that A.J. Brown is unhappy in Philly, you make the move. You try to see if it can happen. It's on Howie to say no, but you can't just not make the move because like, oh, they'll never trade him. You never know what's going to happen.
You know, Howie Roseman won a first-round pick for him.
Absolutely. Give him a first-round pick for A.J. Brown. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine A.J. Brown and Malik Neighbors together for a first-round pick? We traded the second and the fifth for Brian Burns.
What's he making, A.J. Brown?
I don't care. You pay him. And we're going to have.
I don't know the cap space. We have to figure that out. Craig, let me ask you. Craig, are you confident that the Giants, that the Mara would fire Dable if he only won 3 to 4 games?
Yes.
Even though they know they rushed Dart sooner than what they projected on game 4.
I don't know if that's. Well, I respect that truth. I don't know if there's any rush. There was no timetable. Who knew when he was going to be ready? They just knew that Russ couldn't get it done. The GM put no pressure on him. This was Daboll's move. He's the one that put Dart in. So I don't think the owner didn't put no pressure on him. The GM didn't put any pressure on him. Daboll said, I'm making the call and I'm putting my kid in because of how much I believe in him, right? But if they win 4 games, they're going to scrap the whole thing. Now you got a kid with a new offense coordinator and a new coach, and we're starting all over. We're Giants fans. We're so used to losing that 3 years, trade him, cut him, fire him, get rid of him, fly a plane, sabotage him, put poison in his beer. Like we just want to change everything every 3 years. I'm saying there is something here that is bigger than just his 111 yards. Like Mark Thompson says, let's see what we have. It's a now league. How long are we going to wait? What did he? This is kind of something that, Shawn, to your point about the fan base, this is what kills me. What he did in the game yesterday is not measurable by stats.
Yeah.
Okay. What he did yesterday was he broke the team down after the win. He was talking to Slayton. He was hitting Malik Neighbors. He's leading a block. He's bouncing off linebackers for first downs. He's got something that we have not had. This is different for us. Eli didn't have it. Russ didn't have it. Jones didn't have it. There's energy. I'm telling you, 80,000 people were chanting yesterday. The hype man, who we miss, who should have a job with the organization, Antrell Roll, who led the team in tackles 3 years in a row from the safety spot, walked on the field, started chanting, and then Ahmad Bradshaw shows up wearing 44, his number, and it says Skattebo on the back. I mean, there's something about these dudes that people really like. They like Alexander. Bo. When's the last time we drafted a lineman that's good? Bo's legit.
Yeah.
Like they're working towards something. It's a now type of a league. I'm not saying blow their draft wide open. But again, Hyatt, Belton, Evan Neal, they're expendable. Wrap them up. Figure something out. It's about time we didn't go out with a whimper.
Yeah.
Christian, am I crazy? Am I crazy?
I didn't realize I was muted. No, I don't think you're crazy at all. The vibes definitely do feel different. And I was not at the game, but you could see it on TV, just like between the fan base, you could hear it in the crowd, and you can kind of see it online as well. And I think that if Jaxson Dart can put a couple games together, I mean, I think him, Skattebo, and Abdul, I mean, they'll run New York City.
By the way, I got to bring Karen's point up here. So we were all laughing because people were trying to figure out like what his nickname is. What do they call him? I don't know if he's like a Ric Flair guy or something, but it's Skattebo, but everything in the stadium was woo. So it was like, so
Nice.
he would make a play, do a backflip, and they'd be like, Cam Skattebo. And then on the screen, everybody went woo. So it was really cool. Like, and then you got like, Burns doing the Spider-Man thing, right, on the sack.
Awesome sack celebration.
Yeah.
And we've never had a quarterback that did a TD dance after scoring a touchdown, which Dart did. Never in the history of the Giants have we had a quarterback do that type of dance after a TD. So when you talk about the it and we have something different, like that's it right there. That is different.
I don't want anybody.
I love it.
And I don't want anybody. I've said this. Look, I know what his flaws are. Maybe a little bit better than you guys do because I've watched a lot of Dart. But I'm looking at the Giants and it was fun yesterday. It hasn't been fun in a long time. Like I'm looking at Carter doing the Darth Vader, and I'm looking at people wearing the one eye black down their eye. It was fun for a day, and I'm like, whether he turns out to be Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, or he turns out to be, a run-of-the-mill quarterback, I don't think that's what I'm after. I'm after is let's try to win now. Let's try to get this thing going so next year we're hitting stride. And if we go out and we go out with 2 wins this year, you're going to start all over. And you guys could all hate on these dudes, right? They're not, Shane had back-to-back really good drafts. He had a really good offseason. Has he missed on the offensive line? Yes. But if we win games, he's going to go get you a starting right tackle, and he may move Illuminor in the guard. Okay, because Van Roten is not going to be here next year. That spot's going to open. Right now, we need a wide receiver. Where's Cold? Cold said something a second ago. At a minimum, you need a 50-50 ball receiver. So go out and get one. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're going to go to the playoffs, but man, if this team walks out at the end of the year, truth, with 8 wins, are we not stoked? Truth, are you there?
I think he might be frozen.
Yeah, he froze. Too much excitement for him. He couldn't handle it.
Mike, truth. If you froze up on me, can you hear me? I think you're getting a spotty internet. Truth, you're all froze up. There he is. Wait, there he is. Truth, there you are.
Yeah,
you froze up on me. No, that's okay. You froze up. Am I crazy to think that if they win eight games, there's that we're going in the right direction?
Oh, of course, because it was you did better than last year. I mean, I think I don't know, man. I don't know. I just want to see if you see effort. I mean, you got a rookie quarterback. They're going to lose some games because of his inexperience. It's going to happen, and knowing how to win, this team has to learn how to win. I mean, they got a game this week. They really need to put the foot down to the pedal with New Orleans. That's a game they really could win. And even though it's in the Astrodome, that's a game they can win.
I don't know if we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go through and do the 2-minute drill. I'm gonna try as many questions as you guys have. I think I have a little, and we'll try to all answer them. I know I have it in here somewhere. Give me oh, there it is. All right, I'm going to go through all the comments that I can that we haven't talked to, and I'm going to give it to you guys. Answer these questions, guys. Let me go to the comment section, see if I missed any earlier in the show, because there's a ton of you guys in here. Let's see. Shawn, Cole says MetLife turf is the dud. The New York Giants changed the turf 2 years ago. So all these people talking about people getting hurt on the turf, Shawn, is not accurate because it's new turf. Yes, neighbors got hurt on it, but they got hurt on the old turf. Is the turf the issue? Do they need to go to grass?
Yeah, they need to go to grass. Yes, it's a new turf, and it's supposed to be better than the old turf was, but we're having it happen again. Just go to grass. I don't want to hear the excuses about, well, 2 teams play there and all these. From 2000 2002, Jets and Giants played together at Meadowlands, and they were on grass. Go back to grass. Make it work. If you can bring it in for the World Cup, you can figure. And you got stadiums that have these high-tech grass coming in. Make it work. No more excuses.
All right. I will say that there's a problem with the trays. I know Tiki Barber was talking about how the trays was bad technology, so maybe they've got the trays figured out. Christian, this one's from you, from Gino. My concerns offensively is Slayton. Can he step up and beat man coverage? He does well versus zone, but with neighbors down, he needs to be able to step up and move further. Can he do that?
I think he doesn't really have a choice unless they bring, like we were saying earlier, unless they bring someone in to do that. You paid him the money that you paid him, which was what they felt was wide receiver 2 money. We have seen Slayton be our quote-unquote wide receiver 1. He's averaged, 700 yards a year outside of last year as a New York Giant. So I think it's possible. He's very comfortable with this offense. We know that he was helping Malik Neighbors last year in terms of getting position right. But it's not going to be the same offense. I think a lot of fans are just going to have to understand that Malik Neighbors was a big part of this offense, and you're not going to be able to replace that production.
Yeah.
But Slayton, you can't, right? You can't. But he is a guy that does provide downfield, targets. He also can hit the middle of the field as well. But I think right now he's in a position where it's put up or shut up. You got paid the contract you did. We're going to need some more out of you. Wandale, I think his production is replaceable too, but all of our guys collectively have to take a step forward.
See, that's why I put Christian on the show, right, for that comment that he just made.
What a debut. What a debut.
Right there. Wait, you know what? I'm totally going to have a new intro for Christian after he said what he just said, because that is what I've been saying for 3 years and nobody wants to hear it. Now I got a guy on my side.
You'll
All right.
start, Christian. As long as you agree with Craig.
Boy.
You'll start.
Chris is my new right hand man, dude. I'll tell you right now. All right, this
Wipe
one's for
that
you.
nose, Chris.
All right, this one's for you, Shawn. Cole says he doesn't trust Bowen to do it. And that was a little bit further when we were talking
pressure,
about
yeah.
blitzing dudes and stuff. Yeah, but can Bowen keep this thing together? Because he was impressive yesterday, and I don't know if that's like a Burns influence where he goes to him and says, "Man, we need to turn this up," or Dexter goes to him and says, "I need to turn this up." Can Bowen hold us together with the same type of ferocity that he did yesterday?
I think so, yeah, because then Mark put this in the chat. They only blitzed 31% of the time yesterday. So they were getting the rush. It was what he did with moving guys around. That's what I want to see more. Moving Tibbs around, moving Carter around, getting Alexander in the game more. That I think he can do. I think the entire coaching staff understands the urgency that everything's under now. So yes, and again, I'm only attributing one loss on the defense, and that was the Cowboys game. Otherwise, the defense has played well enough for this team to win. So yes, I think he'll do it. If he doesn't, you're going to hear me get on him about it.
Truth. Karen says trade Russell Wilson. Is that something that's like realistic? Is there a team out there, and if who needs a QB?
Well, you brought it up earlier. I mean, and I'm sure if a team who has injuries to their quarterbacks like the Bengals, that's been rumored. If they may give you a call and they want to give you a draft pick for him, you're not going to have him back next year. You got Winston already in house, so why not? Why not?
Right now,
you don't have a third rounder, so I don't know if you can get a third rounder, but at least you can get another pick in next year's draft. Why not?
And Minnesota's another team because they went with Wentz this weekend and they lost. So Minnesota's another team, and Jefferson's looking for someone to throw him the ball, and that moon ball would work really well with Jefferson.
Yeah, good point.
All right, so I like that. Let me see what other one in here if there's you guys. There's a ton of these guys. We talked about that. Cole says 50-50. I'm just looking to see if I missed any of these. We talked a lot about this and that. Tyreek Hill. Wait. Tyreek Hill was just carted off? Dude.
Yeah, I saw some people tweeting about it. It's supposed to be really nasty, so I don't even want to.
Oh, boy.
All right, what is called? If they can't get a consistent running.
Those updates.
If they can get a consistent running game, it'll help Dart tremendously. I'll take that one. Yeah, 100%, Cole. You're spot on, right? Again, you take away one run out of yesterday, and he was averaging 2.6 yards a rush, a carry. So, yeah, we're going to need the consistent running game up front to, give Dart some breathing room. Remember, he's just a kid. I mean, he's going to need some time. There's going to be some growing pains. It's going to be games where he throws. I told you, if you haven't ever watched the movie Tin Cup with Kevin Costner, you want to watch it. It's a golf movie, and it's kind of funny because it reminds me sometimes of Dart, where Dart will throw the same pass 3 times in a row because he wants to get it so bad. And I know you know what I'm talking about, Truth, because you're a golf pro, so you know. Anyway, it's a plug for the movie Tin Cup if you haven't seen it. And when you're done, be like, all right, now I know what Craig's talking about. Let's see here. 68 pass rush win rate. That means they were getting pressure with 4. Shawn, are you cool with rushing 4? I mean, Cole says it was a 68% pass win rate. That's pretty damn good. You're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, we saw our, team in our division that we don't like win the Super Bowl with getting after the quarterback with 4. So that's the goal. That's what you want. That's what all D coordinators strive for. If you can get pressure with 4, that's what you want. So yeah, I'm good with it. Make it happen with 4. Just figure out how to be creative getting pressure with 4. This
is kudos to Cole for this comment because it's spot on. That's why I'm not beating up Dart too bad. He played well at times. Kafka didn't help him. Kafka is, I'll say it again, and I'm not going to dwell on it. Kafka's a waste of space, man. He's been on this team. He's made nobody better. Not Jones, not DeVito, not Tyrod, not Glennon, not Fromm. He's I don't know who he's got dirty pictures on, but this cat stays around, and I can't figure out why, because he brings nothing to the table. I named 4 guys right now, passing coordinators in the league that would make better offensive coordinators, one of them being Brady, but there's a couple other ones that are out there. Not Tom Brady, of course, Joe Brady. There's a bunch of dudes out there that I'd rather have than Kafka. I'm not really sure, Cold, why they keep him. This one's for you, Christian. Thoughts on Kayvon? I hope he's here for a while. He looks different this year.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Kayvon I think he looks phenomenal. I think he's had a very strong start to the year so far. Had another sack this past game against the Chargers. He's really coming into his own. I feel like it only took drafting Abdul Carter to do so, but we know that he was doing some tackling techniques in the offseason to improve in that aspect, and he's really banking on himself. I know a lot of people mentioned the fact that he does have one more year on his contract as they picked up the 5th-year option, but I always go back to that and I say there's not really a lot of players that tend to play on that 5th-year contract, especially if he has a strong season. I don't think he would take the field playing on that 5th-year contract. I think he would look to get extended. But I'm really impressed with what we've seen so far with Kayvon Thibodeau. If he could build on it, especially not getting, I don't want to say cutting his snaps with Abdul Carter, but I think we're seeing the Kayvon that we've been wanting to see since we drafted him. I think he's coming into his own.
Love it. And
Pay
you
the
know,
man.
Pay the man.
Yeah.
Him,
yeah,
Carter, and him, Carter, and Burns. Pay the man.
Yep. I'm the first one to tell you, like, I haven't really been a Kayvon fan. I did see a lot of that offseason workout that Christian was just referring to. He's doing a lot of jujitsu. He's doing a lot of mat work, wrestling, where, playing low, lowering his pads, using his hands. And I honestly, I'm flat out telling you, I noticed the difference. He's playing lower. He's getting underneath. He's shedding and he's sliding. Because to me, he was a one-trick pony. He can only really rush the quarterback by coming across your face on the inside. And Shawn and I disagree on a regular basis. I don't think he sets not prior to this year. I didn't think he set the edge very well. I don't think he had a motor to come down the end of the line and make plays. I thought he gave up on tackles a lot, but he's got talent just oozing all over the place. Drafting Carter definitely lit a fire under him, but I also think the training that he chose has given him a little bit more of I don't know what you want to call it, a tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, is this his option year? Is this his picked up his option this year, or is it next year?
So this is his 4th year. His option year is next year, which they picked up. But to your point, Craig, I think this year he is setting the edge a lot better. I thought last year he looked improved, but this year I think he's playing the run really well. He looks stronger at the point of attack as well.
Yep.
He looks a little bit quicker. And I think with teams having to focus in on Dexter Lawrence, who, if you guys are in this stream, you guys have probably seen. If not, we had Paul Dottino on here who said that Dexter Lawrence was going to need like a month to come back to Dexter Lawrence shape. So teams are going to have to hone in on Dexter Lawrence. They're going to have to hone in on Brian Burns for sure. Same with Abdul. He should be winning his matchups, Kayvon Thibodeau. And I think he's doing a solid job. I really do.
I like this point from Cold, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I see a toughness in Kayvon that I didn't see before. Like, he looks really good at the point of attack. He used to kind of, to me, he'd be right about to ready to lose the point of attack, and then he would either swim across your face because he can win that matchup, or he would get buried outside, right? And he would just be a stalemate. He's now setting the edge, as you just mentioned. He's got a little bit more bend going on, and he's lowering his pad level a lot, and he's winning the one-on-one matchup on the outside. But now he's starting to get rid of those cats, and he's starting to be able to make plays on the inside. So I'm happy with him because I got to tell you, I didn't want him back, but I just noticed a difference in him right away, all the way around. So, guys, next week, I hope you guys show up loud and proud. We're going to be here with Dunleavy every week. He's going to bring in some insight for us. I mean, the Giants are playing in New Orleans. They definitely going to need that win, right, to get continue to going for that 500 mark. We definitely, prayers up for Mr. Mara. Sounds like he's been fighting for a little bit. So hope he's on the way. The turf thing, Tiki Barber said today that if they had new technology, the grass is the way to go. But the trays that he played on were truth. You remember those trays they used to play on? They used to bring the turf in on trays, and then they used to have to set it with those big picks. I don't. That would just that kind of turf would just create seams, and it kind of gives. I don't know what the new technology is, but I will tell you this: in the 2011 Super Bowl, and the Giants played in what was it, Arizona, or was that 2000?
No, that was Indy.
Okay, Indy was 2011. 2007, and they played Arizona. They actually had the grass rolled in and out on one big tray. They actually rolled, if I could say, if this was the stadium, they rolled the entire tray out into the grass, into the sun, and they rolled the whole tray in. Literally, the whole floor is one piece.
Wow.
So, yeah. It was really cool, fascinating actually. I would have to think it would have to be something like that, because the rub is, for you folks that are just think they're cheap and stuff like that, they're not. There's 7 or 8 teams that use the turf that the Giants have. Actually, the Saints might be one of those teams. I think like Minnesota, the Saints. I think Jacksonville, the Giants, the Jets. I'm drawing a blank. A couple other ones. The information is available to you. Their biggest rub is that they have so many events in Giant Stadium that if you put grass down, it would ruin it. So. And it's a revenue stream they're not willing to give up on. So, like I said, if they had a tray that could roll out into a side parking lot, they'd be able to roll it back in for game day. So, I'm all for it. Cold says, wait, Cold, you live in Arizona? I've passed by and seen it out in the sun a few times. Let me put this up here. Boom. That's correct. The Cardinals rolled their grass in and out. Cold, you're in Arizona? Cold's not in Arizona, is he? Maybe he has some. He is. Wait, did you know he was in Arizona?
Yeah.
I apologize, Cold. I did not remember that you were an Arizona guy. Yeah, all right. So Cold knows better than anybody, right? They roll out the turf, so maybe the Giants can look into something like that.
I don't know what Jerry Jones uses. I've been to the AT&T Stadium here a few times, and it's a nice turf. If it is turf, it looks very nice. I can't even lie. And they do a lot of events there at the AT&T Stadium.
I think, though, they only have one team. The Giants and the Jets both play in there. So either way, they're going to have to figure something out sooner or later. This is a yes or no question, and then I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to wrap this up. Truth, I'm starting with you. Should the Giants bring back OBJ? Yes or no?
No.
Christian, should the Giants bring back OBJ?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes.
Shawn, should the Giants bring back OBJ?
As much as it pains me to say this, I'm going to say no.
I'm going to Shawn, ask me the question.
Craig, would you bring back OBJ, yes or no?
Hell no.
I respect it.
Hell no. I was sad when he left. I was mad when he left. I don't want that near any of my guys right now. They have their own vibe. Carter's a leader. Burns is a leader. Dart's a leader. Skattebo's a leader. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we need that. We need.
I don't think he has much left either.
And he doesn't have much left either. And by the way, I could be wrong. You go look it up. Odell Beckham Jr. did not tear his ACL on the Giant Stadium MetLife turf. He tore it in the when he was with the Browns his first year against the Bengals. So I could be wrong, but I am 99% sure. All you folks that keep saying OBJ, I'm like, he did not tear his ACL as a Giant on the MetLife field. He did it as a Brown playing the Bengals in, 2020.
Yeah, I definitely recall the ankle injury against the Chargers years ago. But yeah, no, I'm there with you.
That was a game where like 3 wide receivers went out in the same game.
Yeah, same with Brandon Marshall, foot injury too.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, and we're going to wrap this up. Make sure you check us out. Please like it, subscribe, bang it. Karen, especially Karen, you're new. Thanks for hanging out. Welcome to the Giants Rush family. Pass it on
Welcome,
to
Karen.
your friends. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. But believe it or not, it does help us out. We'll have to tune in with Spartan Mike. So if anyone is in the chat that's playing fantasy football, I'd love to know how you guys are doing. The grand prize came in, and I showed it to Shawn. And what did you say, Shawn, when I showed it to you?
Holy cow.
Yeah, but it wasn't cow. It was a different word.
Right. Yeah. We're being family friendly right now.
Yeah. So the grand prize is in, and it is sweet. Makes me almost want to keep it myself, but I wouldn't do that to you folks. So the Ballers League is off and running. I don't know how everybody's doing, so I'll have to check that out. We'll see you guys next week with Ryan Dunleavy